कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी। ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं है, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Sunday edition with Franchise India. I am Gaurav Maria, Chairman of Franchise India. This is a special webinar which we do every Sunday morning on exit planning. This is designed for people who are looking at selling their business or exiting their business and looking for a new partner to take over their business. So friends, this is a very 30-minute webinar, which we're going to talk about very sensitive subject, which is about selling your business. This is a subject which normally we don't talk about it, but it is a very critical, very, very critical at what stage you decide that you want to really sell your business and how you go about it. So just before we start in the webinar, I'd like to give a little introduction about Franchise India. Franchise India is a 24-year-old organization, the largest start your own business platform. So we help people who are looking to start the business. They come to any of our platforms. It can be our exhibitions, our forums, our magazine, our digital platforms, and so on and so forth. And we have a very large network of consultants spread across India in about 90 plus cities, which help you to take the decision to start your business. But this particular webinar is powered by a separate company of Franchise India called BusinessX. BusinessX is a resale platform, which means that if anybody wants to sell their business, they come to us. And we also have investors who are looking to buy an existing business. They also come to us. So this is a company which was designed to help especially small and medium-sized businesses when they are looking to exit their business. And it was very difficult, and it is still very difficult for smaller businesses to really find the right kind of buyer who can take over the business. One, to really set the right valuation, and then to get a buyer. Both was a very, very difficult decision to do that. So what are we going to cover in this webinar today? I'm going to cover the basic mindset. What is a mindset, and when you have to make a decision that you want to really sell the business. And it is one of the most complex and very emotional decision for anybody to really decide the time has come that you have to let go your business. The business which is already you are so attached to it, or you've been working for it, or it has been inherited by you. It might be a business which you have got from your father, and it becomes even more difficult to take a decision that you want to sell that business. So first is very clearly a mindset, why this mindset has to be very clear. And then we go down to really understanding the timing, at what stage you really decide that time has come, that this is probably the right time that you want to take a decision on doing it. Third is what kind of valuation you can get, what kind of valuation you can expect when you're getting into the business, and then getting on to further spotting the right kind of a buyer group, and finally, essentially going the whole transaction. And this entire work is done and powered by BusinessX. BusinessX is, as I said, part of Franchise India. So friends, I see a lot of people joined in. If we can do a formal introduction. So if you can use the Q&A box, there is a Q&A box at the bottom. Just introduce yourself. What brings you on this Sunday morning? I know Sunday is for your family, but you're doing this business webinar, which means that you are serious about something. So give us a little background about what brings you to this webinar. So use the Q&A box and introduce yourself. If you are looking to exit the business or even thinking about that this can be a possibility for you to really sell your business, write exit on the group, on the Q&A box. And or if you have come to us for raising capital, because BusinessX also is a platform which helps especially early stage businesses, startups and early stage businesses to raise capital. So that also we help that. So if you are looking to exit, write exit. And if you are looking to raise capital, just write capital. Use the Q&A box and introduce yourself. Or if you want to really talk about anything else which you brought in here, because sometimes people come for buying a business with Franchise India. So even if you're looking to acquire an existing business, then also you can write there. Use the Q&A box and introduce yourself. And the more you introduce, we will know where you're coming from, what is your background. And I can really set some examples in the webinar, which can be more useful for you. So let's get started. And once a very important aspect is the mindset. You know, why at a certain stage it's very difficult for business owners to really decide that this is a time that they need to exit the business. And I can tell you there are a couple of reasons why this happens. First reason is maybe control issue. You're not in control of your business. You're not able to get in fully control of the business. Sometimes you have partnerships, you have other issues, you have family issues, and you're not in complete control of your business. And it bothers you every time, and you're not able to take control of the entire thing. So that can be an issue. So if that is happening, then you need to really decide how do you really find a way to get out of that. Because second is performance issue. Business is not doing well. You tried whatever you want to try, but still not doing well for you. So it is a performance issue, and you need to come to terms with this, because very important, business owners don't come, and that's why they multiply their losses. Even if you see large companies do this mistake at a time where they are not doing well, they continue to fuel it, and they build bigger problems in later. If you see all these companies which have gone to NCLT, they really found that there was something going wrong, and they multiplied that. They took more debt on their books, and eventually the business didn't do well. So if the business is not doing well, and if there is a performance issue and you have tried your best, then you need to really understand and say what different you can do, and very quickly that you can turn around the business. And if you feel that nothing comes to you as an idea, then maybe you need to find a new buyer who can really do justice to the business. Third is interest issue. You got fatigued. You are no more enjoying it, or you don't see your future in that business. That also happens. You know, sometimes you're working on something which is not going to fulfill your goals, but you are putting almost all your time into that business. And that happened with me, because I started money businesses, and sometimes I'm doing one particular business which is draining my lot of energy, and I look at that business, that's never my future. This is not going to be my future. So you need to get detached on that, and you need to really go out and pass that to somebody else. Because if you continue to put your time and energy on something which is not your future, you're actually wasting your man years. That's very, very important, and can be another area which is a liquidity issue. You don't have enough cash. You know the business is good, but you have no cash to support that business, or you don't want to bring in your personal entire thing. And then there can be many other issues, which can be, it can be partner split, it can be challenges of debt sitting on your books. And if you have that challenge of debt, I can tell you, you need to address it. Otherwise, it becomes even more painful as we go along. So if you have these kind of issues, then you need to really come with terms with this. Because I feel that most of the business owners end up closing their business because they were not able to decide at the right time. Eventually, the business goes to a point where it's no more interested to any other investor. You need to get into liquidation. So there are only three things you can do when you're looking at exiting your business. One, you get the right valuation at the right time. Second, you get maybe a lower valuation or maybe a big haircut, but you still get a buyer. And third is you have to go through liquidation, which means that you have to just sell the assets and get out of the business. So if your timing is wrong, then this would happen. The third would happen. If your timing is right, then you probably would be able to do it on the right time. But let's understand what are the options available for when you are looking to really exit the business. One, you can completely sell the business, which means either you sell the company itself or you take the business asset out of it and sell that business asset. That's one option for you. Second is you bring in somebody who's an operational partner to you. So which means that you feel the business is good, but you have no ability to run it, or you're not able to sustain it, or it needs a micromanagement, which you don't have time. Then you can bring in another partner in the business, but always remember, bring a partner who also bring in some skin in the business. I've seen a lot of people doing mistake in bringing partners who are just operationally involved, but have no skin. If the business is hard and it needs a big turnaround, they don't stay with you. They go away. You need to bring in, even if you are bringing somebody from inner circle, which means that even you're getting somebody as an employee working on that, then also you need to make sure that they bring in some kind of skin in the business. That's very, very important, because you have put all the money and effort. You need to have somebody who also puts in skin. Another thing which you can do is also maybe give sometime controlling stake. So sometimes nobody wants, you don't want to sell the complete business because business is good. And this happens on succession businesses, which means that you are in an age where you have built a great business, but your children don't want to run it. And you now don't want to lose the income also, which is coming from there. So there at that stage, you might look at an opportunity to bring in somebody who puts in and takes a controlling stake, but you also have some kind of a residual incomes which continue to come from that asset. And that you need to create and define that formula in advance, because sometimes when you give controlling stake, it's very difficult, especially for smaller businesses, to really know what is going on in the business. And it can cause disputes, it can cause differences, and so on and so forth. So you need to have a clear mechanism that how you're going to get that residual. So this happens with a lot of performing long-term assets like petrol pumps. A lot of people at a certain stage would bring in an investor who would take about 50% plus partnership in the business, but you will keep a fixed fee to continue to come to you for your share of that 50% which needs to be done. So a lot of these businesses, hotels and other places where the asset is clearly defined and certain performance can be measured, you fix that performance and continue to get that. Once you have decided that what is the right stage, which means that you want to completely sell out, you want to partially sell out, or you bring in an operational partner in the business, depending on what is the strategy, then we start looking at who can be the right buyer group. But before you even go there, you need to assess the valuation of the business. And this is very tricky. This is extremely tricky. And this is something which I closely work on because unless and until you rightly set the expectations, and sometimes seller who's selling the business is emotionally so involved in the business, have very unrealistic expectation from what the business can be. And I feel that if the business has a performance which has already been there and it has been static at a certain level, you can only discount the current balance sheet. You cannot talk about the future discounting on that because it's very difficult, because the business has been historically like that. But if the business is relatively young and startup and has a big future, then I can go out and even discount the future growth story and get a much higher valuation and so on and so forth. But businesses which have historically been there, you need to only do their current balance sheet. And I have a formula which I really work on, which is called the SAS principle, SAS principle. I always look at a strategic value. What is the strategic value in the business? We look at asset value. Asset can be both tangible and intangible. Sometimes you have some technology or some kind of even brand. Brand itself is very, very important. If you have some trademark brand, I did some acquisition from a big fund called Everstone, and Everstone had a big restaurant portfolio, and they had these brands called Copper Chimney and Noodle Bar and Bombay Blue and so on and so forth. And in acquisition, they sold some assets to performing assets to some different players, and 2 just trademarks were acquired, which I was a part of that, and we acquired just the trademarks because these were performing brands and no more existent, but the trademark was very, very strong, and the brand was very strong. So we just acquired the brand from this big fund. This fund also runs Burger King in India. So sometimes it's just about that asset is a brand itself. And then we also look at the third S, which is the subscriber, which means that who is the subscriber base for you. So always look at the SAS principle, SAS principle, which is strategic value, asset value, and subscriber. And subscriber is very, very important. Who's your customer? How frequently they're buying and how it is improving. That's all is very, very important. And sometimes in a business, you have all 3. And sometimes you have 2 of that. And sometimes you have only 1, which is interesting. It might be the asset. It might be the subscriber base. Sometimes you don't want to really take over the trademark. You need to bring in new trademark. But there is a good subscriber base which has already been there. There is a customer base which already exists. And this is becoming more and more important. Most of the acquisitions, if you really see, are happening on the third part of it, which is very important. Strategic also very important if there is a certain amount of unlock value, which is not being done. But once you have determined that valuation, then we need to really go out and approach the right kind of a buyer group. And buyer group can be further divided into strategic or financial. Strategic are people who are from this same industry or have some kind of value addition to your business, which means that they have some kind of ability, especially if the business is not performing. Very carefully understand, if the business is not performing, is losing money, you always have to look at somebody more strategic. Unless and until there is a very strong unlock asset lying there or any unlock value lying in the business, which can be used by a new buyer. And then you can look at financial investor also. But most of the time, it has to be somebody strategic who can turn around that asset. But when a business is performing, it's already making money and you can discount that, then most of the time the good valuation would be given by a financial investor. A financial investor would give you the best valuation because they would be able to appreciate the kind of bottom line which you already generate on that business. So depending on where you are, we will have to find out the right buyer group. What is a buyer group? And sometimes the answer really comes from our clients itself. They really know who can be the right buyer group, and they come to us and say, I know my competition is always looking at it. They've just grabbed this big order and they need a bigger manufacturing capabilities. It would be best that they acquire us. But they would not directly approach them, because if they approach them, it would not work. So sometimes the answers really come from the sellers itself. We intelligently go and present to the immediate competition, or somebody who's vertically going up and somebody who's backward integrating, or whosoever is the inner circle, because the inner circle normally comes from the seller itself. But once we have decided, then we confidentially approach these buyers and then present the opportunity. And that's where real value really starts. How a buyer looks at a particular business or to acquire. I give you one simple formula. If the business has a certain ease to take over, that's one of probably the 90% of the acquisition cycles I have seen, especially in small and medium businesses. If small and medium businesses, when we present that opportunity, is so complex, designed or too dependent on the business owner and things that it never interests a new buyer. Even it is very lucrative as a business model, but it looks too difficult to take over the business. So first, a very important aspect is how easy is the business to be transferred from one ownership to a new ownership. That's a very, very important aspect for me. And that's where I really work very closely with our business owners who come to us to sell the business, that how they can design the business. And that's what exit planning is. Exit planning is actually designing your business that it is easy to transfer. Then they look at a lot of other things. How is your management structure? How your financial structure? How your organizational processes and systems are being set? How you document every thing which happens in your business? How you define your customer base and how deep that customer base is? All that are very, very important aspects. But there are 5 simple rules. If you are presenting your opportunity to any new buyer, always look at these 5 simple rules. First, always show future over past. Then absolutely nobody is interested in your past. And this is a mistake a lot of business owners do. They come to us and they are so big on their past, how the business was evolved, how much hard work they did, what kind of marketing they did, brand they built, and so on and so forth. And very little about the future, what future holds for that. And actually it's wrong, because somebody is buying into the future is not buying into your past. And if you are selling the business, you're already telling that there's something wrong, that you don't want to continue with the business, which means this is a mindset of a new buyer. New buyer is already is in a mindset that is looking at that if everything is so good, then why are you bringing that business to me? Why are you not doing that? So if you have to really go to a new buyer, you have to be very sharp to present the future. There can be reasons why you're not able to capture that future, or you don't want to do it because you have other interests to present it, but there is a great future which can be done with that business. And every business has that value. Second is that this business is not dependent on only you. You have a good team which can take over and be transferred to the new buyer. Most of the times, if the business looks around you or the business owner, it becomes even more difficult to sell. Because this is one rule I tell every single person who wants to sell a business: make yourself redundant in your own business. Your business value would go up. All the business owners who are too deeply involved in their businesses find it very difficult to find a new buyer, because everything is around them. And if I take them out of the business can collapse. So if that is a situation, you need to really create a business model which can run without you. And if it can run without you, it can be transferred to somebody else. Third is predictability. Predictability is very, very important. Any new buyer who wants to come in is very nervous for the first 6 months, how the 6 months is going to look like, how the first 1 year is going to look like. How is predictability for that next 6 months to 1 year? Do you have contracts? Do you have a customer base which would stay there? Nothing is going to change, or some drastic thing can happen. So that's very, very important. If you can show that predictability, and consumer businesses are easy to show that because they have a customer base which is already there. The problem happens when you are a B2B supplier, and if you don't have a long-term contracts, then it creates a nervousness in the entire thing. Or you are dependent on only 2 or 3 contracts or 5 contracts, and they are not long-term, or they cannot be sufficient for the business. That also creates nervousness. But consumer businesses are very straightforward. You're running a restaurant, you have a salon. We can really see that customer base is already coming, the brand is already known in that neighborhood, and the business is happening. Only thing is that you need to build more efficiency. Say you're a hotel and you're running on a 50% occupancy. So it's predictable that 50% is there. You need to take a higher occupancy level and so on and so forth. So where is your business and how you can show predictability? That's very important. Unlock value. What is that one unlock value in your business which you have not been able to optimize, but a new buyer can easily do that? So that's another very important aspect. And sometimes in deals, unlock values are very enticing. Like Emami bought Jhandu. I give this example a lot of times, and almost everybody wrote and saw in the acquisition that it was overvalued. But people didn't see that there was a big real estate play, because Jhandu's one factory was in south of Bombay, which can be moved up, and they can use the land use change, and that itself would pay for the acquisition of Jhandu. So sometimes these large acquisitions are done on that unlock value, which sits in the entire thing. So Anil Agarwal just bought Videocon, not for the Videocon India assets, but only for one asset, which can give him a very strong position, because he's also holding some part of that, asset of oil, which he is already holding something shares. And now with Videocon holding, he will get into a substantial position in that holding structure. So just because of that holding structure changing for him, they were able to acquire the entire asset of Videocon. And so sometimes there is a strong unlock value, and what is that unlock value is very clearly to be known. And then finally is the recurring revenue. How can we demonstrate there is a recurring revenue? So remember these 5 things. Always show future over past, make yourself redundant in your own business, bring predictability of the business model, show that unlock value, and a recurring revenue. So if you are able to show these 5 things, and this is what BusinessX team does with you, we work with you to really create that. And once we have created that and put the right valuation, we create the right information memorandum, and then go out and intelligently present to the future buyer for them to acquire the business. Last point, what is the timing? Timing is very important. If you're peaked out and you don't see you're growing further, this is the time you need to take a decision. Second, you might have a business which can grow, but you don't have capital to support it, and you don't want to take any debt. Maybe if the business had that growth trajectory, you can get at a good valuation. You can get a very good valuation because you don't have a capital, but the business is strong and there is a strong category. That all the time you should do that. Rather than sometimes people underperform, but they keep holding that business. It's wrong actually, because you don't have enough capital to see that kind of growth. But somebody can really bring that money to really maximize that opportunity, and you can get a good valuation. A good smart entrepreneur sometimes incubate good ideas and then pass the baton. They're very, very good at it. So that's how serial entrepreneurs work. Serial entrepreneurs know till what stage they need to hold that business, and logically somebody else can do justice on that business later. And that's where if you see some of the good serial entrepreneurs always do that. Another thing which is happening is that if you are in a particular category and you find that the big boys have come in, or it means that they were fighting an elephant. Like, for example, if you are in any form of e-commerce business, then you're fighting Amazon. So there would be a time where the industry would get into some kind of consolidation, and timing is the right thing. There was a client I met in Calcutta called Sasta Sundar. This is a direct-to-home medicine business. 7-8 years, they built that business, and they did the perfect timing because they saw Tata bought 1mg, Reliance bought some other acquisitions were happening, and they went to Flipkart and sold that business. And it is absolutely right strategy at the right timing. And I know a lot of others are holding on because they want to really compete, because all these 4 or 5 big boys have already got one of the assets, and then industry would not do that. You would get marginalized and nobody would be interested in your asset. So if you are in a time where there's a lot of consolidation happening in your industry, you need to really time it well. And also sometimes you have a great business, but doesn't have distribution, right? So you need to go to somebody much bigger for a distribution. So all these companies are Unilever and Procter & Gamble and Godrej and all large consumer companies, Imami or Marico, they all are looking for acquisitions. They are all looking for great ideas, great brands, and they're all looking for bringing their distribution bandwidth or a global distribution bandwidth for great business models. So sometimes companies struggle, they keep struggling because they're very micro business they build and they don't look at a larger picture of that. So if you are in any of these stages, you need to time it well, reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to understand your business, understand in depth what you do, and also discuss with you what kind of valuation we can get on the business, and then go and intelligently present to a new buyer and find that. Typically, this whole transaction can take anything from 3 months to 6 months, and you need to give that time. And all that we do is confidential. So friends, this was a short webinar which I want to discuss on exit planning. If you are looking to exit your business, how you plan it, how you time it, how you get the right valuation, and how you reach out to a new buyer group. So if you're interested to take that decision to sell your business, this is your time. I will write now my direct number. And also joined with me is my colleague, Varun, who will reach out to you tomorrow. And if you are interested, this is my direct number. If you can see, 98102 44330. And I have my email ID, which is very simple, gm@gauravmaria.com. Why I put my direct number? Because a lot of times people want to discuss this confidentially. And if you are somebody who's looking to exit your business, you also obviously want to do it very, very confidentially, you can reach out directly to me, send me a WhatsApp, a little information about you, and then we can set up a time to discuss further. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you for taking time on Sunday. Hope I was able to give you some insights on exit planning. And if you are somebody who's planning to either raise money or exit a business, please reach out to us and we'll be able to help you out. Thank you very much.